This is the story of Phillip. Once upon a time, in the one-syllable town called Amherst, lived a happy young wizard boy and both his wizard parents. This boy's name was Phillip, but everyone called him Johnny. Johnny lived in a house with his mother Stacy and his Greek father Robert, who everyone called Rob. The Greek father Rob was a math wizard, also known as an accountant, and Stacy was an elementary school teacher at the lesser-known wizarding school called Pig Blisters. One day, when Johnny was just 8 years old, Stacy said that she was going out to get a pack of wizard cigarettes, and she never came back. Rob fought off the urge to kill himself and raised young Johnny on his own. Johnny looked up to his Greek father an awful lot, and he wanted to be just like him. Johnny wanted desperately to be an accountant and eventually land his dream job working with his father at the Big Four firm K.P.M.G. Finally, the day came when Johnny was old enough to pursue his dream. The Greek father Rob pulled him aside and said, "Son, you have learned an awful lot about accounting. I have taught you many spells and potions, but I have one more thing left to teach you, and it goes like this. Supply adjustments are easy. Supply adjustments are fun. If you are told how much supply is left, you must make an adjustment before you are done. If you start with 10, and as of the 31st you're left with 3, you must make an adjustment of 7 to keep your statements happy." After teaching Johnny the very powerful spell, he sent him on his way. Rob, the Greek father, said to Johnny, "I have brought you to the many different wizard career paths. To become an accountant, you must follow the blue path and defeat every single monster." He gave his son a hug and a slap on the butt, but not in a weird way. Johnny began his journey, his quest, his destiny. The path was definitely longer than some of the others, but Johnny was confident in himself. Only on the path for a few minutes, Johnny ran into his first monster called the elementary school monster. This monster was barely up to his knees. Johnny didn't even have to use his magic. He just stepped on it. After following the path for more than an hour, he ran into more monsters. He fought the high school monster, the SAT monster, and even the college essay monster, which gave him a little bit more trouble. He then went on to fight several Gen Ed monsters, but those just boosted his confidence even more. Johnny didn't even feel challenged. He knew the end was in sight. Johnny kept walking, feeling good, when all of a sudden, a massive shadow was cast over him, and he looked up and saw the next monster. This monster was huge, and it seemed like way more of a challenge than anything Johnny had previously faced. This monster's name was Accounting 221, and this monster was 100 feet tall, and it sounded furious.
How do you calculate cost of goods sold? Sales minus cost of goods sold.
Johnny started firing off as many spells as he could remember. Johnny yelled,
"Adjusting unearned revenue is light. Adjusting unearned revenue takes little skill. Remember, if you are receiving revenue a year down the road, do not panic, just chill. You divide the unearned rev by 12, then multiply that by how many months left in the year. You now know how much to credit retained earnings and how to handle deferrals without fear."
This spell looked like it did quite a bit of damage, but it didn't do enough, so Johnny mustered up his strength and tried another. Johnny screamed,
"Adjusting prepaid assets is cool. Adjusting prepaid assets is lit. The rest of this spell isn't going to rhyme, and I don't give a darn. Prepaid assets, like a year of insurance coverage, you just divide up the cost of the prepaid asset by how many months you are covered. You multiply that by how many months are left in the year, and that is your adjustment total. You subtract this adjustment total from the prepaid assets and the retained earnings,"
said Johnny. This spell wasn't enough either, though, and Johnny began to panic. Johnny started to think he couldn't do it, and that he would never work at K.P.M.G with his Greek father. His father! That's right! He knew one more spell. Johnny prayed it would be enough. Johnny waved his wand and screamed,
"I will defeat you, 221, or my name isn't Johnny. You will drown in Greek yogurt. I grant you death by Chobani."
Johnny did it. The spell was enough to defeat the monster. He did a little dance. He clicked his heels together. He was so he was so close to becoming an accountant, he could taste it. It tasted a little bit like low-fat Greek yogurt, but his celebration was short-lived. Out of nowhere, another monster appeared. This monster was 100 times bigger and looked way more scary. This monster's name was Accounting 222. Johnny gave it one look and said, he walked all the way back down the path and changed his major to marketing. The end.